What is up, you guys? Glitches here, and welcome back to the channel. I am finally back from vacation. I just got home from a 10+ hour drive, but we have some juicy news that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to wait until tomorrow. So let's jump into it. I'll probably do multiple videos back to back. I've got probably 2 or 3 of them I'm going to try and knock out tonight for you guys. So keep an eye out. They're going to be coming one right after another. But the first one I wanted to do today is kind of a quick summary of all the killer updates that are going to be coming to the game soon. They just happened to announce while I was on vacation. I was hoping to make a video about this over the weekend, but I didn't have access to a computer. So I'm going to kind of combine them all here and quickly do a brief summary of all the really cool stuff that's going to be coming. So let's jump into the first thing, and that is updates during the dev talk about new social features and deviation optimizations. Now, for those of you that watched my ultimate Deviation 3.0 guide video, I mentioned several times that I spoke to the devs about hopefully changing things with how securement containers work, and either the containers themselves or potentially allow you to increase and display more if you're a collector. They go over that in this dev talk. I also have a receipt here for another message that I sent to a dev directly based off of my own feedback that I wanted to share with them, and the feedback that you guys post in the comments. So I know I mentioned at the end of every video, comment down below. I appreciate all your guys' feedback. I mean that in 100% entirety. I do take all of your guys' information, requests, things like that, and I relay them to the devs in hopes that they can make the game even better. And this is just a prime example of something right here. July 24th, so this was several weeks ago before they even made the announcement. New cool potential feature could be a deviation fusion device. A lot of times we get a ton of duplicates of deviants, and besides our highest powered ones, the rest either become garbage or sell fodder for Eternal Land. With a deviant fusion terminal per se, we could fuse together duplicate matching deviants and basically upgrade a deviant to have a higher skill power or skill rating. It would give additional purpose for all those duplicates that we get, and also reward players for farming extras. I sent that to the devs as just an idea several weeks ago, and then sure enough, over the weekend, we get this dev blog within just a week or two after us posting that request to the devs, and we get information like this. So we've got difficulty finding desired deviations. We've heard your concerns regarding the difficulty in locating specific deviations, specifically things like Mr. Wish. To address this, we are developing a guarantee system for deviations, which we will be introducing soon. So it looks like we won't have to farm silos 50+ times now to get deviations. We should eventually be getting guaranteed drops over time, which is awesome. Now we have the option to switch between deviations. This is another thing a lot of people are potentially requesting. While some players have requested the ability to quickly switch between deviations, we do not plan to allow players to carry multiple deviations at once. Personally, I sort of agree with this. The current system is designed to encourage strategic decision making by requiring players to consider trade-offs when choosing a deviation. So not a big change there. They're kind of just letting everyone know. The big thing, and this kind of goes into my deviation guide and the recommendation that I sent directly to the devs, placing more deviations and securement units. Currently, players can place up to 20 deviations in their territory. While we believe this limit should suffice for most players, others will need to make strategic choices about which deviations to place. We are also planning to introduce unique securement units with more details to be shared in an upcoming update. So there you go. That has a really cool open-ended things that you could kind of interpret that with. If they introduce new unique securement units, maybe some of them are just for decoration purposes. So then we could have more than 20 on display. They just wouldn't be active. We could have ones that maybe enhance the skill rating of deviations if they put them in there, if it's like a rarer securement unit. So there's potentially some really cool things that they could do there that kind of make the recommendations and the things that I was looking for a possibility. So I'm really looking forward to that. The other big thing, and this goes towards the recommendation that I sent directly to the dev that you saw in the Discord post, enhancing weaker deviations. Many players have expressed their interest in fusing and upgrading weaker deviations into more powerful ones. This feature is a key component to the game's next stage and is currently in the planning phase. We will keep you updated as our plans develop. So there you go. We are are going to be getting in the not too distant future a way to fuse our deviations together to make them stronger. As I'm sure you guys may already know, the only thing you can really do with the low level duplicates that you have is go to Eternal Land, and in the Eternal Land shop, you can sell them for about 500 astral sand, which is the material you use to craft anything you want within Eternal Land. But other than that, if you've got a high level one already in a container, there's no real use for those extra ones that you find. So having that fusion ability is going to be really cool and allow us to min-max our deviations and actually give us a reason to farm those duplicates over and over again to power them up. So that's really, really cool. Carrying deviations to the next season. This was another question that I asked the devs. I'm going to be making a whole separate video going over the basically season to season changes that are going to be going. We will talk about it here in a few minutes on another dev talk that I'm going to be going over here in a second. But I asked specific questions that weren't even answered in the dev talk that I'm hoping they get back to me with those answers. And once I do, I'm going to be making a detailed video on that as well. So stay tuned for that. But we're pleased to confirm that players can already transfer their hard-earned deviations to the next season. That was a really big question that people had. Deviations are moved to Eternal Land when the season ends, allowing metas to carry over some of their deviations according to the Eternal Land rules. And in this case, I'm assuming it's going to be based off of the cost of them. Basically, everything that you end up bringing to Eternal Land is going to cost those material points, which we're going to get, I believe it's like 20,000 or so, potentially more if it changes by the end of the season, that we can spend to bring the items that get loaded into Eternal Land at the end of the season over to a new season. So you kind of want to strategically decide what you want to bring over, but deviations will be a part of that. So especially the rare ones that might be hard to find, your legendary armor and things like that. Those are the type of things that you're going to want to prioritize at the end of the season to bring with you and spend those basically limited material points on. So keep that in mind. But it is really cool that we've gotten a confirmation that we can, in fact, bring those hard-earned deviations with us from season to season. So that's pretty cool. Last but not least, the biggest and most important one, deviations pushing owners off of roofs. As you guys already know, the collision detection on some of these deviations are horrible right now, especially in my base because I have that tight spiral staircase. Sometimes Chephosaurus gets in the way and I gotta pick them up and throw them, you know. But we have received reports of deviations pushing players off roofs due to hitboxes and collision detection. We're working on a fix to rectify this issue. So they're going to be updating that and we should no longer get blocked by our deviations, or at least our territory ones, which is going to be a nice little update. They did go into depth about a bunch of new social features. I won't go fully into them. World chat, channel, and trade requests are going to be updated. Many feel that world chat is overwhelmed with trade requests. Long story short, they're going to be adding new filters and actually use an AI system to allow you to filter out more fluidly the things that you actually want to see in any of those designated chats, which is pretty cool. Teaming up across different worlds. This has already actually existed, but they're going to be streamlining it to make it a little bit more efficient for players. Expanding social chat options, cross-server teaming. You may not be aware of it, but the game already supports it. Player capacity in warbands and hives. This was a big one because I know in the beta it was up to almost 100. There are currently no plans to change the player capacity of warbands and hives. However, this may be reconsidered in future scenarios as each scenario will have unique gameplay rules. So as we'll go over in the next dev blog, there's going to be some updates to how the different scenarios are going to work. Different players and may have to be grouping up into factions at some point. You might have different types of enemies that spawn. We're going to go over that in a little bit more detail here in a second. But based on the type of scenario that we're going to be entering, they may or may not change the caps for the warband. So that's pretty cool that at least they're considering it. Unfortunately, vending machine access permissions are not going to be changed. Vehicle access permissions, however, are. We will be making vehicle access permissions more modular soon. Please let us know if you have any other specific requests. So it looks like your friends and things like that may actually be able to jump into the driver's seat here soon. So that's a pretty cool feature. But moving on, the next big one that they wanted to talk about is the updates to building. A lot of people express concerns about snapping and things like that. Difficulties with roofs and stairs not snapping into place correctly, making alignment a frustrating task. We understand the importance of seamless construction and have made fixing this a high priority. We're excited to announce that a grid alignment system is currently in the works and will be released within the next month. This system, along with ongoing optimizations, aims to help you create beautiful homes and innovative interior designs with ease and speed. So they're adding a new snapping grid alignment system that's going to make our building a lot more efficient. Construction limits. Many have expressed that the current construction limit stifles their creativity and prevents them from building their territory to their full satisfaction. There are two parts to this issue, however. First, in the game tips, may have been misleading. These tips specify the limit for a particular type of component, not the overall construction limit. We will update these tips for better clarity and also increase the placement limit for certain component types. While we've considered raising the overall construction limit, technical constraints related to the game's open world make it necessary to maintain certain limits, especially for wilderness building. For those who wish to fully explore their creative potential, we recommend building in Eternal Land, which, as I'm sure you guys know, have basically unlimited caps for building. So if you want to build anything crazy, Eternal Land is the place to do it. We've received extensive feedback regarding issues with the game's water and electrical power devices. This is another big one. The main concerns are as follows. Wires and water pipes cannot be disconnected and can only be demolished. This was a big one. I went over this when I did my Wire Your Base Like a Pro video. Really, the only way that you can edit those is by just straight up deleting them and then reconnecting a new one. But now wires and water pipes are differentiating between the inputs and outputs of water dice is challenging, and water pipes cannot transport oil or impure acid. What they're going to be changing is we are actively working on solutions to these problems. To address the first issue, we will soon simplify the interface for managing wires and pipes. For the second issue, we will add flow direction indicators to all water devices. And to resolve the third issue, we will convert water pipes to general pipes capable of transporting oil and impure acid. Overall, our goal is to make the game features easier to control and understand while maintaining their enjoyment. So there you go. We're going to be updating all of our water piping systems. This means that you're not going to have to manually drag impure acid to things like the brewing barrel. You'll be able to just pipe those directly in now, which is going to be super convenient for acid farming and things like that. Some players have expressed concerns that fish tanks can only hold one fish, so they have a bunch of fishing updates coming as well. We will go over this a little bit more in the latest update that they just posted. They're also complaining that you can only the tank owner can see the fish in them. We will soon increase the fish tank's capacity to allow for more fish. The issue where others cannot see your fish is a bug, and that will also be fixed soon. Additionally, we will be introducing new types of fish tanks to the game, so stay tuned. And again, in a minute here, I'll go over even more updates to the fishing, which are pretty interesting. Regarding the agricultural system, some players have noted that the range and cost of grow lights and irrigation systems are not clearly defined. We are still optimizing the agricultural system and plan to add effective range indicators and the cost information soon. So I know in my gardening video, I went over how I increased the height of my grow lamps so that they kind of dispersed over a larger surface area of plants. So when they say that they're going to make it more visually appealing and a little bit easier to read, maybe now when you lift and raise your light, you might get like a guide ring that kind of show you the area of effect, something like that. That might be useful for newer players especially. So they're definitely going to be adding a new system there to make planting and farming a little bit more efficient, especially for new players. Some players have reported accidentally activating irrigation devices when pressing F while planting. We will modify the controls to ensure nothing interferes with your planting experience. We are also in discussion with the Deviation planning team to explore how Deviation skills might enhance the planting experience. One thing in particular that they kind of talked in a Discord post is things like the Rain Man. People were requesting that the rain cloud option when he starts watering your plants be able to be selective, and you could choose which planters to put it on. So there is things like that that they are debating within the team that they may change in the near future as well. So keep an eye on that. But moving on. And this is the big one, the one that I really wanted to talk about. They just released the 1.1 patch notes for the upcoming features, and it is a doozy, and they're pretty sick. First thing first, new animal ranching features are being added to the game. A brand new animal ranching feature is now available. Capture and raise animals and build the post-apocalyptic ranch of your dreams. Most animals encountered in the open world, including deer, wolves, sheep, wild boars, bears, rabbits, and crocodiles, can now be captured and brought back to your territory to be raised. Even more animals will be made available in the future, so that is pretty cool. Each animal has different habits and characteristics. You must build special housing for them for each type of animal and provide the appropriate food. Once an animal is tame enough, you will be able to collect skins or meat from them. Some animals are aggressive by nature and can even help you defend your territory against deviant invasions. So there you go, another bonus defense on top of your turrets and the Nutcracker deviant, or deviation rather, for things like your territory purification. So that's pretty cool. Here is a screenshot of what a potential animal farm could look like. It's like a little petting zoo almost. Moving on, and this is what I talked about in the previous post, they are revamping the entire fishing system. Since launch, we've received a lot of valuable feedback concerning the fishing minigame. Players have reported being able to catch fish, have reported being unable to catch fish, or confusion regarding the fishing controls. We understand where you're coming from, so we've revamped some aspects of the fishing system. The waiting time has been reduced, and we've increased the number of fish each fish tank can hold. We've also added lots of new rare fish types. So we've got a cool little screenshot here. Moving on, the new fishing minigame is a battle between your stamina and the fish's energy. The tension on the fishing line is displayed in the center of the screen. You must reel in the fish as much as possible while keeping the fish line from snapping. When the fish runs out of energy, you have successfully caught it. Some small fish can now be used as bait. Large and ferocious fish will now actually prefer small fish over common bait. So all of those extra little ones that we're catching now, we can actually turn around and use those as bait instead of just letting them go to waste and spoil in our fridge. Optimize fish types and reduce the waiting time required when fishing and reeling in the fish, and added new rare fish, including the northern pike blood jade variant, sunfish black rose variant, rainbow trout, blue porcelain, suckerfish, spotted, the amber oscarfish, the opal pompano, the aquamarine barracuda, the koi fish cloud variant, the peacock guppy, pure white black bass, gold knife big head carp, blood mark sardine, the red giant tilapia, and the purple dawn angelfish. So as you can see here, we've got a ton of new fish variants that we can hunt down now. And I believe that there's a live stream that I actually missed because I was out of town, but I will be live reacting to that. So that will be the third video that I upload tonight, where they're actually going to show off firsthand some of these new fishing features. So be sure to check that out. I'll have that uploaded as soon as possible. They've also optimized fish tanks to allow them to hold multiple fish at once. Each fish tank can hold up to 8 fish now, depending on the size of the fish. So really, really cool updates to fishing and the display of our fish in our territories. Moving on, these things are also going to be shown off in the live stream, so keep an eye on that. But they're adding a new wilderness game modes for both PvP and PvE. The first one is Sproutlet Conquest, exclusive to the Evolution's Call. Opening time every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4:20 p.m. server time. Locations are a random settlement in Chalk Peak, Lone Wolf Waste, or the Blackheart region. Rules: this game mode lasts for 20 minutes. Sproutletite will start spawning 5 minutes after the event starts and can be obtained through various mining methods. Metas in the event zone will be in PvP teams during the event. The more Sproutletite that you carry, the more Sproutletite that you will drop if you are defeated. Rewards that you can get: metas can exchange the Sproutletite for Sproutlets at a 1-to-1 conversion rate with Nisa in the camp. So all of those legendary mods, the new crates that she sells, all the drops that you get from this new event can go towards that vendor in all the major towns. So that's pretty cool. The other cool thing, and this will also be teased in the live stream that I'll show off here in a bit, is the Ancient One's Trial. People have reported seeing the Ancient One descend upon the highest mountain in Chalk Peak. The Ancient One's Trial awaits any meta who can can climb to the top of that tall mountain, board the Ancient One, and face a trial that will test your determination and courage. Metas who earn the Ancient One's recognition shall receive lots of rewards. Call upon your most trustworthy companions and attempt the Ancient One's trial together. So really cool update there. I'm looking forward to seeing the live demo of that. So we hopefully will get that uploaded soon. We also get mod conversion now. Ton of updates coming. Mod conversion is unlocked when you reach level 40 in the novice season or when you enter a non-novice season. The mod conversion function can be accessed from the upper right corner of the mod backpack. You can convert 6 unenhanced legendary mods into a legendary mod with a main attribute of their choice. This is going to be amazing because I have farmed silos dozens and dozens of times just to get that like one violent variation that has the crit damage main perk. So being able to kind of scrap all the extras that I've collected and kind of fuse them into one that'll actually be useful is going to be a very, very handy mechanic that they're going to be adding to the game. The converted mods, I skipped one here. Mods obtained via conversion may contain basic suffixes like violent, precision, or deviant energy. If 4 of the 6 mods used for the conversion contain the same suffix, the converted mod is guaranteed to have that suffix. So this is assuming that the converted mod is available to have their suffix. For example, Lucky 7 cannot have the precision suffix, and Embers, which is solar variant, obviously can't have something like Frost Vortex. So that makes sense. The converted mods attribute levels depend on the attribute levels of the 6 mods that you were using for the conversion. So the higher scrap mods that you're basically combining, the higher the stats of that final converted one is going to be. So that's obvious there. Really cool thing. Another big update coming. A ton of people have been asking for this is controller support. Once Human now supports game controllers. Experience the game in a different way with your favorite controller. The game will automatically detect your controller's button layout. Currently, Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch Pro controller layouts are available. If your controller layout is not correctly recognized by the game, please report your controller's model and your preferred button layout to us, and they will hopefully add that as a setting within the game. They have default, left-handed, shooter, action. You can choose which preset to use or customize your own scheme. So really cool customization features there. They then go on to talk about some of the things that may be a little tricky, like dealing with cameras or playing the piano and things like that, where you have to have like key strokes. That can be kind of tricky on the controller, so just keep an eye out for that. Moving on, we have cross-character sharing for paid content. This was another big thing that people were talking about. As of right now, the way it works is if you make multiple characters across multiple servers, your cosmetic items and things like that weren't carrying over, and neither was your Christian. But now cross-character sharing for paid content is officially available. Paid cosmetics and premium currencies, such as Christian, will now be shared by all characters under the same account in the same region. For more information, refer to the Once Human cross-character sharing rules, yada yada. Special server invitations, this is also huge. Special invitation codes are now available. I can't even count how many requests I've gotten from people at this point to try and join my server, and as well as just friends who started the game a little late and logged in and realized that the server that we're on right now is currently full. They are now creating a new special invitation code program where even if a server is full, players already on the server can find their special invitation code on their player info screen, which can be accessed via the menu, and then they can share that special code with their friends with their friends, and then friends who receive the special invitation code can use it to enter a server with their friends, even if it's already full. Note, as servers have a restricted capacity, there is still a limit to the number of players who can join each server using the special invitation codes. Once a server reaches that limit, no more players can join. So obviously, if you've got a bunch of friends on deck that want to join you, send them this special invitation as soon as possible. This is going to be a great way to get everyone together that may be separated right now. Moving on. Seasons. Some servers will soon be changing seasons for the first time. The following is some of the useful information regarding Once Human's seasonal system. One, what are basically scenarios and seasons in one human. And what is the game going to be like in long term? We want to offer different survival experiences so the game has a little something for everyone. We also want to keep updating the game so it's always exciting to play. That is why we've chosen to include multiple scenarios within the game. A scenario is a gameplay theme of a server. Once Humans global launch initially offered 2 scenarios, with Manibus, which was focusing on PvE, and Evolution's Call, which was centered around PvP. In September and October, we will be bringing out special events featuring a new scenario content. September scenario will involve faction-based PvP for all of you PvP players, while in October, we will be bringing a cooperative PvE scenario with a new map and temperature-based survival mechanics. So that sounds to me like we're going to be heading to the snow zone of the map, so a new area of the map that we haven't discovered yet. We'll be able to explore that, so that's pretty cool. Also in the works are scenarios with unrestricted PvP and a longer season cycle, as well as a perpetual scenario. Furthermore, we plan to release at least 4 new scenarios every year. So basically every season of the actual year, we're going to be getting a new scenario with new content. So that's pretty cool. Seasons refer to individual cycles and progress within a scenario. The duration of each season varies according to the scenario. Each season will also be split into multiple phases based on the scenario's feature. In-game content will gradually be unlocked as your server progresses. That's kind of how the phases work now in the Manibus season, for example. So it looks like they're going to be carrying over that same system into future scenarios. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like how they have it set up now. You get a bunch of rewards along the way, which is nice. But moving on, how do I sign up for a new scenario? This was a big one that a lot of people had questions about. You can sign up for a new scenario during the final phase of the current scenario. Once you do so, you can start your new journey right away. Alternatively, you may choose not to sign up immediately and continue exploring and fighting on your current server for up to 4 more weeks after that season has potentially ended and the new one started, during which you can sign up for the new scenario at any time. If you haven't decided on which new scenario to join by the time your server's final phase ends, and your current server will be closed and your character will be returned to Eternal Land, where you can then continue playing or sign up for a new scenario at any time. So here's a quick little flowchart scenario sign up process. Choose a scenario and server, create your character, play the scenario, sign up for a new scenario in the later phase once we get to the end of the season, sign up for a new scenario and then continue playing, or choose not to sign up, stay in your current server for another 4 weeks potentially, choose not to sign up for the new scenario, and then eventually go to Eternal Land and wait until you're officially ready. Moving on, when a scenario is over, does that mean I will lose my in-game progress? No, it does not. A lot of people were asking this. We value the effort and time you put into the game. Even when a scenario ends or you exit a scenario midway, you will be able to keep the rewards you have earned. There are a few rare exceptions, including scenario-specific items and medic items. This is pretty obvious because a lot of these are going to be changing from season to season, so it doesn't make sense to keep them once a certain season ends. However, to ensure that each scenario offers a self-sufficient experience and to allow all players to enjoy the game regardless of their progress, we have the following rules in place. So this is kind of a summary of what everyone was looking for. You can take the following content from their associated scenario to a new one: characters and cosmetics, names, body sizes, fashion cosmetics, character customization data, emojis, actions, name cards, and titles. Yes, you can keep them over there. Materials, Starchrome, Christians, Mitsuko marks, all your Stellar Planulas, Sproutlets, all your Lightforge medals, Lightforge relics, cosmetic tokens, colorful badges, Battle Pass tokens, silver keys, Battle Pass XP, etc. That all carries over. Important in-game progress content, gear blueprints, accessory mods, including mod components and food recipes. Those all carry over. Seasonal items, season honor shield patterns like our butterfly emissary, as well as cultivation essence and more. Those carry over. Your friends and group chats, task completion progress for the main story and side quests. Those will all carry over, so you won't have to redo the story missions. I believe the settlements themselves will refresh, which will actually be good because then we can refarm the mysterious chests to get more blueprints, but you won't have to go through and do this storyline again. Event progress and materials, you can check them in the event screen. Those will be carried over. So that is pretty much everything that you can take. You can transfer the following content to your depot in Eternal Land. So these are the things that you will want to spend those material points on to bring over to the next season, which include weapons and armor, regular resources such as materials. A lot of people thought that it might be just medicines and ammo, but all the resources that you collect, you can bring those over as well, including bullets. Your deviations, those can be brought. Calibration blueprints, those can be brought over to Eternal Land, as well as energy links. So convert to astral sand and use it to build an Eternal Land for supplies. So all of these things can be brought over at the end of a scenario, and then use those material points to be brought back to a new season so you don't have to farm them all over again. These are the things, however, that you cannot take with you. Map exploration, that's an obvious. Character level and XP, that's kind of an obvious thing. Preferably, a lot of people like to be able to carry their character forever, but I actually like the leveling process. It's pretty quick within the game, but when you're exploring a new area and everything's going to be new to you anyway, why not start from scratch? It just gives you a reason to continue playing, in my opinion. So that's going to get reset. Scenario core gameplay items such as chaotic cortices or staroids, those are going to be left behind. And last but not least, specialization items and crafted items using the mimetic specialization. Those will not be carried over. That is also pretty obvious because if you're starting out at level 1, all the things that you crafted, like your bed and different blueprints that you get from your mimetics tree, you're going to be back to square one with those. So if you were able to just carry them over, without the mimetics to build them, it kind of defeats the purpose of unlocking them in the first place. So the main things that you were getting rid of are really just the obvious stuff. All the key things that we really want to hold on to, all the things that we took the time to farm for, we get to keep almost all of that stuff at the end of a season, drop it off in our Eternal Land depot, and then just use our material points to pick and choose the specific things that we want and bring that over with us to the new scenario and start fresh with a nice little boost. So really looking forward to that. But moving on, season optimizations. I told you this was going to be a big one. They have a ton of features coming to the game. In the upcoming season, we are releasing a new scenario with higher difficulty. The scenario will include 2 new combat environments, with each environment containing different cradle override combinations, including the super anomaly types, exclusive blueprints, and calibration blueprints. There are also 2 combat difficulty levels for the scenario, normal and hard. On hard difficulty, deviants, dungeons, and other challenges will be tougher, but yield more rewards. You may choose whichever combat difficulty level you prefer, and when a season enters its settlement phase, your personal territory and your vehicle's mobile territory will automatically be saved as house blueprints for use in the next season. So like I mentioned before, along with the normal armor and weapon blueprints, our house blueprints and stuff will also get carried over, so we don't have to worry about that. Another big thing, a lot of people are excited about this always, is the new shop arrivals. New cosmetics are coming to Once Human. You can view and purchase them in the item shop coming up at the new patch. And by the way, this should all be dropping tomorrow. I believe we're in maintenance right now for this patch, which is pretty cool. The afternoon latte fashion set, rare quality, will be available to purchase after the update. Return to school with this pretty and affordable set. We also get new epic hairstyles. A rare makeup set will be available, and you can view them in the cosmetics tab in the store. The Teddy Warrior fashion set and the Teddy Partner fashion set and Teddy Partner discounted theme pack will be available after the update. This versatile warrior fights, heals, and even carries a chilled backpack full of ice cold drinks. So cool little teddy bear themed skin there that we can pick up. Moving on to Lightforge loot crates are now available. Open the Lightforge loot crate to receive a guaranteed cosmetic, as well as a chance to obtain Lightforge collection cosmetics. You will not receive duplicate Lightforge collection cosmetics. A Lightforge collection cosmetic is guaranteed within 30 openings. Duplicate cosmetics obtained will be converted into tokens that can then be used to redeem Lightforge loot crates rewards or basically side right. They're also, and I'm going to be making another video about this, finally bringing the Pyroglide vehicle cosmetic, legendary quality, psychedelic skull fashion set as well, legendary quality, and primordial flame weapon cosmetic of epic quality will be available on August 16th. Open the Lightforge loot crate for a chance to get these limited edition collectibles and embrace the eternal flames and soar to freedom. So this cool new Lightforge loot crate system that they're going to be adding is not only going to have the potential to unlock a really cool motorcycle skin, but also a new psychedelic, basically like disco punk skull themed armor set, which looks really cool. Also, forgot to mention this, the basically legendary primordial flame weapon skin for the scars and the AKs, which is really, really cool looking. So definitely looking forward to that, and I will be making another video for this shortly, so that's going to be one of the ones I put together tonight. Moving on, Wilderness Express starts on August 15th. Enjoy racing through the wilderness alone or as a team and earn points for mileage and collisions. Reach the required score to claim rewards, including Starcrum and the limited edition Fulfilled Wish Vest cosmetic. And Secure on Site starts on August 22nd. These are the two in-game events that we already see in our menus that were kind of on hold until we got to the release date. So they're kind of just talking about those. We're getting towards the juicy stuff here. This is another big thing that I talked to the devs about. Basically, the Prime War. They reduced the cooldown timer of the Prime War to 5 minutes instead of basically 15 minutes, I think. Or no, was it 12 minutes, I think? So it's going to be a lot quicker of wait time in between like a failed attempt. They recategorized the Prime Wars Gatling cannons and turrets as special buildings. They no longer use up the same construction limit as other defensive installations. This was some of the things that I mentioned in my Prime War good and bad video. They're addressing these already in the game, which is awesome. It just proves that the devs are really listening to player feedback, which is great. Added new time limits for demolishing buildings and facilities in the Prime War. This is a huge one. After the time limit is up, buildings may be demolished by other metas, and the materials will used to basically craft those will be returned so that people can just build their own where they want. This was huge, not only for potentially lag purposes, but just for reaching that cap and making some of the builders in your group miss out on a ton of points for their rewards at the end of the Prime War. So being able to demolish all those and allow your builders to do it themselves from scratch is really going to help balance the scale for that point distribution. So that's awesome. They also added a new protection mechanism that prevents all buildings from being demolished by other metas once in the boss phase of the Prime War begins. So that means people can't randomly just start deleting stuff once they come in. And they added an on-screen display of the durability of Starwood facilities in the Prime War, which is pretty nice. Normally you'd have to just run there manually and look at it. Now we kind of get a little designator. So really, really good updates. It's pretty much exactly what I asked for in my video a few weeks back. So it's really good that they're making those updates. That's going to help out a ton of people. But moving on, for territory purification, reduced deviant HP and the damage they deal to buildings in basic defensive modes such as territory purifications and workshop defenses. They optimize the territory purification tutorial task, the anti-memetics tech. Metas must now reach the easiest territory purification level of 15 before taking on this task. Make sure to build defensive installations to protect your territory before trying to purify for the first time. Other adjustments, I could go on and on here. Let me just quickly see if I can skim through these because some of them may have already been talked about in the other post. Territory construction or optimizations, they talk about the grid alignment system they're adding. When the season enters the settlement phase, all your vehicle and mobile territory become. We talked about that. Facilities such as brewing barrels and fuel refineries now display the correct input to output ratios. A lot of people were confused by that. You can now easily disconnect the electrical wires and water pipes from the water and water pipe management screen. Your backpack will now become invisible when interacting with certain furniture items. And lastly, when crafting gear, materials for semi-finished items, they will now automatically be added if you have the required quantities. So no more having to click that little plus button every time you're crafting something. If you've got it, it should just auto-populate, which is nice. A little quality of life update. Deviant optimizations. So we're going on to the enemies now. Starting from the second season, the opposing faction shall face new challenges. The Super Anomaly. Due to perpetual exposure to aberrant forces, the enemies on the continent have gained new powers and extreme resilience. Luckily, they have come with new weaknesses as well. Exploit these vulnerabilities and defeat them to earn rewards. Larger strongholds in hard and pro mode dungeons are typically the locations. The super anomaly types are the void, phase, balance, and coherence super anomalies. Slightly increases the HP of low and mid deviants in the novice season. Deviants in the novice season now pose a larger threat and deal more damage. So it looks like the lower level ones are going to be getting a little harder. Great ones, which include the Ravenous Hunter, Treant, Araxium, Shadowhound, and the Forsaken Giant, are no longer considered deviants and cannot be affected by damage bonuses that apply to deviants. Instead, they are only affected by the Great Ones bonus that you see in your mods, because people were getting probably more damage than they were supposed to be getting. So a little bit of a nerf there. Optimize the blast radius and warning indicator of Vulture Bomber. Improved the alertness and attack logic of Maniacs and Nars in higher difficulties, and fixed an issue where deviant corpses would still have hitboxes, causing them to obstruct the player's shots when firing at other enemies that haven't died yet. Combat optimizations. I don't know if I want to go through all of these. It could take a bit. But basically some of the moves for different weapons like Deadly Combo, Transient Impact, Agility, Brawl Boost. These are all going to be getting some refreshes and updates in the game. I'll link to this particular blog post because it's just so long in the description of my video. And if you want to look into the specifics of all the individual abilities that get updated, you can just click that link here and go through and find the specific ones you want. Because we're already at over 40 minutes here and I don't want to go too long. It's already long enough as it is, but tons and tons of weapon updates. More battle stat bug fixes incoming, new additions, multiple new calibration blueprints. So it looks like we're getting a frugal style, which suits pistols and sniper rifles. These are just going to be new, basically, calibration types that potential weapons can drop with the new update. Added 2 mod suffixes, including the resonance suffix, increases sustained damage output while dealing weak spot, crit, and elemental damage. So that could be good for like power surge builds potentially. And the battle suffix, which increases weapon damage and status damage resistance in PvP. So a more PvP specific calibration. That's interesting. What else we got here? Adjusted tech, stuff like that. Deviation optimizations. Fix an issue where some deviations wouldn't attack test dummies. Optimize the animation and visual effects for the Xeno Purifier action. Optimize the interaction of the Digby Boy and Logging Beaver with their facilities. This was one I told the devs. The mining drills were getting kind of bugged out because they interacted with the Digby Boys and was resetting the timer. You had to manually redo it every time. So it looks like that's getting updated. That's really good. Significantly increase the deviation resource production efficiency of H37, so more scrap parts there. Deviations in the territory will now continuously produce resources at gathering platforms, such as mining or logging platforms. Gathering progress at platforms facilities is saved when deviations stop working due to lack of deviant power, and they reduced a deviation's PvP damage factor to prevent certain deviations from instantly killing players. So interesting updates to deviations, as well as you saw before, the potential updates coming for the securement containers. I'm really excited about that. Guidance optimizations, map optimizations, vehicle optimizations, world optimizations, social functions. We kind of went in the previous ones. Boss dungeon, securement silos, slightly reduce the difficulty of the Araxium dungeon. That's interesting. Optimize the audio effects in the empty house. So that's good. Eternal End optimizations, trade optimizations, developer notes. and then just minor bug fixes. So yeah, tons and tons of updates with this first end of season patch here. I'm really looking forward to that flaming motorcycle skin. Might be one of the few things I invest in to try and get. We'll see here. We'll have to check it out in game tomorrow. And I will be making a video on this here shortly, so be sure to check that out. Get some new cosmetics, new fishing updates, as well as some new in-game events, which again, I'll be reacting to the live stream, so we'll be able to see both of these here in a few minutes. Just keep an eye out for my next video where I go to react to that. But really, really cool stuff. If you guys enjoyed the update, if you're excited about these changes that are coming to the game, it's just proof that the devs are listening to the players, which is awesome to see, and just how passionate they are about it. And I'm happy to announce also that I've been chosen to be a long-term partner with the Once Human team. So look forward to some more really amazing guides here coming up in the not too distant future. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, you guys, if you found it informative, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate your guys' feedback. As you can see, almost everything that we relayed to the devs, they're already working on just within a couple weeks. So who knows what can happen down the road. So comment down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts and potential requests that you may like me to relay to them. I'm always talking to them one-on-one and direct messaging them. So be sure to do that. Also, if you want to keep up with my future updates, like I said, I got probably 2 more videos coming out late tonight. Feel free to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the updates. And then last but not least, if you want to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, feel free to check the links down in the description and join us on the Discord. We've got almost 1,000 members in there now, many of which are playing Once Human. So hopefully you jump in, and we see you guys around here soon. But until the next one, hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all later.